Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren. Today we will be doing something super fun and something that I've been putting off for such a long time. But it will be repotting my Fiddle Leaf Fig. Okay, ow! Okay, we're gonna try that again without you. Like I said, I've been putting this off for a really long time. I bought this back in November of 2020, so it's been about a year and a half, and now it's just time to get it done. If you didn't know, Fiddle Leaf Figs do like to be a little bit more root bound and, you know, squished into their pots. So I won't be repotting it into like a much bigger pot size, but I will be repotting it nonetheless. I helped my mom with this a while ago. You can check out that journey on my Instagram. And since then, her Fiddle Leaf Fig has put out like 6 new leaves. I'm pretty sure she said it was 6. It was either 5 or 6, I don't remember. Let me get Finn out of here. I'll gather up my supplies and we will get started. Here we are. This is the pot that my Fiddle Leaf Fig came in. And this is the one that we are going to pot it up in. I believe this is a 12-inch pot, and then this currently, I think it's either an 8 or a 10. Pretty sure it's a 10. We're gonna go ahead and get started though. Here I have most of my substrate that I'm gonna be using. So it's just black gold potting mix and some orchid bark, a little bit of perlite. So potting mix, perlite, and orchid bark. I do have some cocoa coir I'm gonna add to this mix as well. Fortunately, my bowl isn't very big. Actually, this is my biggest bowl. It's just not big enough. I'm gonna use this little pot to just kind of mix this up. And then we'll add, oh, I found my spoon. I couldn't find it. Perfect. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of my cocoa coir just to kind of beef it up a little bit. This is damp. It was recently washed, and so it's still a little damp, but that's okay. I had initially thought about doing this outside because it is gonna get really messy. And I have a rug and carpet here, but taking it outside is a little bit more complicated, so we're gonna do it in here. I do have my potting mat that hopefully will save us. So now for the hard part is getting my Fiddle Leaf Fig out of the pot. So I'm just gonna tip it over, lay it on its side very gently. So I'm just pushing on the bottom to just loosen those roots from the pot. There it goes. Okay, look at this guy. See those roots? So it looks like, I did water this about a week ago, but it looks like it was holding on to a lot of water. So it might be nice for it to be in a bigger pot, and maybe I'll be able to water it not as frequently, but look at that. You can tell the top inch of it is dry and the bottom of it is still pretty wet. Just like we did CPR on the pot, I'm gonna loosen up these roots just a little bit and do the same thing we were just doing. So now we're just gonna do a little bit of CPR. We're just pushing on the roots. Just give them a nice little push. Try not to break any. That's not what you want to do, but you do want to just loosen them up a little bit. My tree has 2 stems, but I'm grabbing the stem to try and keep any of those leaves from breaking. Okay, and now I'm just gonna pull out the soil a little bit on the bottom. Again, you really want to loosen up these roots. So like I was saying, my tree has there's 2 trees in this pot. So I'm just grabbing onto one of them, trying to keep it lifted a little bit. And then I'm just gonna massage the roots. Now we have the roots pretty untangled. If you look, I don't know if you guys can see those, just kind of dangling from there. It's still pretty wound up tight here, but that's okay. They will loosen over time as they get used to being in their new pot. I even loosened up some of the top ones. So thank you for bearing with me, that was a lot. And we made quite a mess with it. This is my pile of roots that I did accidentally break off, which is fine, the plant will recover, so not too worried about that. Here we have my pot that it is going in. This pot is great. It looks like it's super deep, but this bottom portion actually holds the water. So when you water your plant, all the extra will go down into the bottom where this little hole is. And then about once a month, I'll take my tree outside and just tip it over, and then all of the water will drain out. So before, my pot just sat in here like this, and then I would take it out and dump this out. But that's just a great way to let your pot, or let your plant have the drainage that it needs, and it makes it simple to clean it up and take care of it. I know some people will put like towels around it, so you'll have your pot and then a saucer, and then use towels to soak it up once they're done watering. This for me is just easy. It'll hold the water underneath there for probably like a month before it fills up. So that way I don't have to do it all the time, but just every once in a while go and dump it out. So I'm gonna take my mixture, the first little bit of it, and we're gonna put some in the bottom. I did decide to leave that big branch. Let's see, this one right here. I decided it would be okay just because this pot is seriously so big. So I'm just filling up the bottom so that the bottom's covered, and then I'm gonna dig like a bowl, kind of like you do with mashed potatoes. If you don't do that, do it. Then it holds your gravy like perfect. Okay, so I've got a good layer on the bottom. The bottom's completely covered, and then I've got my little bowl. Oh, now I can put the tree in here. Make sure all of its roots join it. Ta-da! So I think I'm gonna have to use some of this just because I only have a little bit of soil left. So I'm just gonna reuse this stuff. The plant didn't have any kind of root rot or anything like that, so I feel okay with that. Ah! It's not very stable, especially not right now. Okay. Then a bunch of orchid bark. And we'll just take that and add it, just like we did before. And then I have a little bit of cactus potting mix too, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. Just what I have. Okay, and then I'm adding some more of this cocoa coir, some more orchid bark. My favorite thing about this orchid bark is that it has orchid bark and lava rocks and then charcoal. The charcoal is really good for your plants. It'll help prevent root rot and just kind of help keep a healthy ecosystem going on in there. So I highly recommend adding charcoal. You can buy charcoal just by itself, or you can buy, mixtures that already have it in. There you go, my big messy project. One thing I always do when I'm done repotting is I hit the side of the pot. This will just help the soil and all of those, chunky pieces of charcoal and all that stuff settle around the roots. So I just like to give it a good tap. Okay, and then just make sure it's still, good and covered. If I get a hold of more soil, I'd probably put another layer on top, but for now this will do. It's not urgent. All of my roots are covered, so except for this guy. Typically when you're done repotting, you should give your plant a drink, but because my cocoa coir was damp and then the actual plant itself still wasn't completely dry, I'm actually going to give this a couple days before I give it a drink, just to make sure that I don't give it any kind of root rot or anything like that. So I do not want to overwater my Fiddle Leaf Fig. Thank you guys so much for watching this short and sweet video. I hope that you guys liked it. If you guys need help repotting your Fiddle Leaf Fig, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Lil Houseplants. I'm more than happy to help. If you have any Fiddle Leaf Fig care questions, I know these guys can be super finicky, but trust me, they're worth it. I absolutely love my giant Fiddle Leaf Fig. My husband, not so much, but me, I love it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button so I can continue making more content like this. Have a good day. Bye. so easy to hold anymore.